Ubisoft just depresses me. And you want to know why Ubisoft depresses me, man? Because I look at a game like X the Fire and think, you have something good here, but you're holding it back. And then on the other hand, we have this Star Wars Outlaws game. And let's just recall a couple of weeks ago, there was discussion about how this game is going to be hindered because it's Star Wars and that's the shape of Star Wars. Now, Ubisoft's got nothing to do with that. But once you add Ubisoft plus Star Wars, not looking good.
It's an opportunity to make millions.
At last you have arrived. You no doubt have many questions. I would be a poor teacher if I did not give you the answers you seek here now.
Ubisoft has put more money into marketing Star Wars Outlaws than any other game. They are pushing this game hard. And I'll be honest, I see 50-50. People are looking at this saying piece of shit, and other people are looking at it saying they'll give it a go because they're diehard Star Wars fanatics.
G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino.
I think the only appeal to this is the franchise, but the franchise is also what's going to hold it back at the same time. It's a weird state of affairs.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
However, I have seen ads for this everywhere, so I do believe
everywhere.
They're pumping money into
everywhere. No matter where you go, it's in your face. Like, I know it's hard to market, but X-Defiant seasons, Rainbow Six Siege seasons would make you more money if you marketed it out more, because those games are your more popular games. But still, why don't you give half of that money to those two games at least, because those games are going to save you, not this piece of shit. I'm sorry, Far Cry 7 has more of a chance of getting you out of debt than this piece of shit. I'm sorry, it does. This game will be dropped and not talked about within 2 weeks.
You fool!
Like, the only people that are going to talk about it are the people that wrote Star Wars and people that go, the people that are usually mad at Star Wars are mad, so I'm happy with my life. And so they're going to play it. And then by the time 2 weeks has passed, the next Star Wars things come out. So they're talking about that. Like, this game ain't going to make shit for them. No one's going to play this game.
As much as I would like them to push X-Defiant a bit more, financially, they should be tripling, quadrupling down on Rainbow Six Siege. I think all three of us on the panel aren't really the biggest fan of that game, but it has made a comeback recently, and Jinxie and Sketch are a big part of that, obviously, man. 2 months ago, when they had that Rainbow Six Siege tournament in Brazil, I think, that absolutely popped off, man. So there's some marketing right there. Start selling more shit. Instead, they just continue to do Ubisoft things. All right, so in a recent financial update, Ubisoft CEO revealed that the firm has put more money and effort into marketing Star Wars Outlaws than any other game released.
How embarrassing.
He also stressed that the company expects a strong launch based on the positive community sentiment circulating the project. So I don't know where he's getting this positive sentiment from.
They say the Force can do terrible things to a mind.
Every time I check this thing, it's ratioed. However, a recent gameplay video that surfaced online drew negative feedback based on how unpolished the game looks and is hitting the market in just 1 month. They're referring to the IGN video. IGN had a 10-minute gameplay video, and people were confused. They were going, is this an old build of the game? Did the rendering in the video go wrong? No, that's what the game actually looks like, man. So marketing equals success, apparently. So during the recent earnings call, the CEO of Ubisoft, this is the same CEO that said the ball is in your court and basically said all me workers are shit. So what we are factoring in is the strong launch of Star Wars Outlaws. Oh, that first sentence, we're going to come back in about a month's time and see how well that held up. That's the fact that it's among the most awaited, not the most awaited Star Wars, but just the most awaited games in the industry this year, and reflecting a strong positive community sentiment. And also the fact that we are coming for the biggest marketing campaign ever so from a Ubisoft game. He just said that Star Wars Outlaws is one of the most hyped games of this year.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous.
No, you know what, though? You could take this exact fucking quote and you could copy and paste it on basically every Ubisoft game that's come out in the last while. They do it to every single one where they're big ones, right? Like Skull and Bones. Remember Skull and Bones was like one of the most anticipated games of the year. And it turns out, no, it fucking wasn't. It was a lie.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. He's trying to basically gin up confidence in, stockholders. And I don't know, if you look at their stock price, it keeps fucking tumbling. Like, there's not confidence there in the Star Wars brand. And there's no confidence in Ubisoft on their own. This pairing is like a match made in hell.
I get trying to hype shit up, to sell it better and all that type of stuff. But to say that this is one of the most anticipated games of
Just straight up a lie.
2024, that's just bullshit, man. That's just straight up bullshit.
Anytime
I would say the biggest upcoming game, okay, so not a game that's already been released this year, but biggest upcoming game, maybe Space Marine might be the most hyped, maybe. But I'll tell you one thing for sure, it ain't in this one.
No, Assassin's Creed Shadows has more.
Assassin's Creed Shadows has more hype than this.
Yeah,
and here's one thing too. Everyone with Ubisoft wants to focus on Assassin's Creed Shadows. They want to focus on that game. But we get this game first, and we still have Skull and Bones. Like, Ubisoft this year is not just one failure, it's a string of failures. Even X Defiant, I would say, has under-delivered. Maybe not in like actual numbers, but in quality, it has under-delivered. We don't know the full numbers because they don't tell us. So we don't even know about their best game of the year, how well it's actually doing. And with Assassin's Creed Shadows, everyone's saying what Japan's going to do. It doesn't really matter what Japan does because the game's going to come out. It's just whether it comes out in Japan or not. And they weren't going to sell that much in Japan anyways. I don't think they were depending on those sales. The sales are all coming from like North America and Europe. That's where that series is popular. So everyone being like, well, what's Japan going to do? They may be able to do something, and maybe Ubisoft has a little more trouble in the Asian market, but it's not like they're super successful over there anyways. They don't do well. They're very much a North American and European publisher.
Well, two things. Just to bring back to most anticipated game, it's not even the most anticipated Star Wars game of the year. The most anticipated Star Wars game this year was the Battlefront, the one they fucked up.
Oh,
that was the most anticipated one. And you talked about X Defiant Steam numbers. We don't know the numbers. We can't see it. Well, here's something interesting for you. Next month, Skull and Bones is going to be on Steam. So you know what that means? We'll be able to see numbers, which also leads me to believe that X Defiant might be there start of next year, maybe, so we'll be able to see more numbers.
We want the numbers, Mason. That's all we've ever wanted.
I'd say fucking Star Wars Bounty Hunter Remaster's more hype than this piece of shit as well.
Yes!
That Bounty Hunter one that's just coming out.
And that's made by the same studio that fucked up Battlefront. And people are still more hyped for that than this. People were more hyped for the Jedi Survivor. Because you actually get to fucking play as a Jedi. I don't want to play as a bounty hunter and fucking like that's neat. Or not a bounty hunter, but as a smuggler. That's neat. But like, I don't know, when you're going into the Star Wars game, you kind of want to be able to fucking use the Force and shit. That's kind of the appeal, right? Like, at least to me, being like more of a casual person. Obviously, if you're way more into Star Wars, you'll be more into that. But in order for this game to make money, you have to appeal to the casual fan base that's like, oh, look, Star Wars. I can be Luke Skywalker now. That's the people you're going after, people like me. Yeah, and for me, I don't find that interesting at all.
And the most normie thing about being like a smuggler, you've made it like the DLC. Well, not DLC, but a bonus. The whole Jabba the Hutt. You've made the most normie thing. You know what I mean? You've hidden that thing that was going to bring the normies in already. And it's fucked up.
Not even normies. Die-hard Star Wars people are going to be going, cool, Jabba. I get to do missions for Jabba. That's cool. Nah, you got to pay extra. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to check back once this game comes out and just see how well that quote has aged from the Ubisoft CEO.